Alert for you tonight. South Carolina lawmakers have reached a deal on the state's budget. The conference committee passed the $13 billion agreement tonight. So let's take a closer look at some of those major projects that we've been following for you specifically here in the upstate. A key sticking point: how much money to give Clemson University to make progress in the state's first veterinary school. It was decided to give Clemson $87.5 million, $75 million of which is a one-time payment, and $12.5 million is recurring funds. Now, lawmakers in both the House and Senate got hundreds of millions of dollars for downtown revitalizations, festivals, park improvements, and other local projects, which include repairs to the Conisty Dam, a story we've been following very closely. The budget set aside $36 million for that project. You can find out more about that budget inside of our Fox Carolina News app.